In this tutorial, I will show how to create a selection sort algorithm with AlgoTouch. First, I will explain the principle of the algorithm. Then I will show how it works by playing with the data. Then I will create the program by demonstration. I will record the actions of the main loop, defining the exit conditions, and defining how to start the program. Finally, we will test the created program with new data. Let's sort an array of n values by decreasing order. The basic idea of selection sort is to place the maximum of A0 to n in place A0, then place the maximum of A1 to AN in place A1, and iteratively at step I, place the maximum of AI to AN-1 to AI. Let's play with the data to see how it works. We've got index I that indexes the first element, and index J that will index the other array elements. So the idea is to compare AI and J, and if necessary to swap. That is, if AJ is greater than AI. In this case, I swap. Swap is a macro that has been already defined. So then I increment J and say that 83 is bigger than 74. I swap again, then continue. 59, no. 83, no. 23, no. 83, no. 92, yes, swap. 25, no. 95, yes. And then I've finished this step. At this step, A1 contains the maximum value. So the idea now is to increment I and do the same processing again. I'm going to automate this process. First, let's consider the loop. In the loop, I will compare AI and AJ, and if necessary, I will swap them. Then I will increase J by 1 to prepare for the next iteration. Let's do it. Let's record this. So I'm going to record. I need scale. I need to compare AI with AJ. The system tells me that AI is lower than AJ. So it means that I have to swap. Okay, so I swap. Then I finish this case and I increment J for the next iteration. Now I'm going to execute the loop again to see if it works. So this is this button. The system tells me that I have to record the case where AI is greater than or equal to AJ. In this case, in fact, I have nothing to do. I don't need to swap, so I just terminate this case. Then I execute again, and again, and again, and again, and again. For the last time, 91 has been positioned to A1, and now I see that I've reached the end of the array. Now I have to define how to exit the loop. Here J equals to 10, and this is an index that cannot be used with the system. So this is an exit condition. So I compare j with the length of a, and I consider that it's an exit condition if j is greater than or equal to a dot length. In the program, this condition has been generated. Now I need to define how to start. So how do I start? In fact, I said that for this sequence, I was the first element and j was starting with the next one. So I have to position j to a plus 1. So let's do it. Let's record this. Put I into j and increment by 1 and stop. I have defined a program that places the maximum at the right position, that is I. In fact, this program presently is called selection sort. I will rename it as placemax. The role of it is placing the maximum at each step. Okay, so now this program should work when I change the value of I. So let's increment I and then play this program. Double click. In fact, the new maximum has been positioned, 83. Then I increment I, place max again, 83 again, I can say that I can iterate now by calling placemax several times and each time incrementing I. At the end, I will have sorted the program. Let's now create the selection sort macro. New macro. Selection sort. Sorting by selecting the maximum at each step. Okay. So, what is the from part? What do I have to initialize? I have to start with I equals to 0. So let's record this. Put 0 to I. That's it. What about the loop? The loop, as said before, I have to place the maximum and then increment I to prepare for the next iteration. So let's record this. Place max, double click, increment I. Stop. Let's see if it works. I'm doing the loop. And here I've got the end of my algorithm. This is the until part. So when do I stop? I stop if I compares to a dot length is greater than or equal. Okay. That's it. The program is terminated. Now let's test this program. First, we change the values of the array. We shuffle. Then we start execution. We can go step by step. First initialize I, then run the first iteration, place the first maximum, test, place the second maximum, place the third, and now automatically continue the program. the program will terminate and the values of the array are sorted.